Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Sandisk. It is time for another update, and it appears that for this stock as well we see a more substantial top, at least internally, within what we have been tracking as a potential wave 3 up, and a larger correction has appeared, as we are looking at actually quite discounted prices, while also gaining some clarity of the stage we are within in this overall movement to the upside. And there are some nuances there, but I actually believe we are looking at a quite great opportunity. So today I will share with you that opportunity. I will share with you the roadmap that I'm tracking for this stock, the overall expectations I have even from a larger time frame perspective. So let's get into it. On the larger time frame, I would primarily expect this stock to be able to extend significantly higher, although once we form a more substantial top within the actual wave 3, we need to be prepared for a slightly larger correction to happen. So what am I talking about? Well, in this chart, we've had a wave 1 up here, a wave 2 down here, and ever since, we've been looking at a pretty extended wave 3. It is entirely possible that within this wave 3, we could actually end up being in the pretty late stages of this structure, but at the same time, I see it capable of overwhelming extensions beyond what really anyone would even be able to imagine. So in the case of this stock, I could definitely consider this to have been a wave 1 up, wave 2 down, wave 3, wave 4, and this to be the wave 5. I do see an adjacent scenario where the wave 3 itself would have extended all the way up here, but it doesn't really matter at this point, as I am still looking for this wave 5 itself to extend even higher. This is not the overwhelmingly bullish scenario, because this stock would actually be able to have completed only a series of 1-2 setups until the most recent extension. So even at this point, I would be able to track all of this as a 1-2, 1-2, and the wave 3 to still be ongoing, and so on, get a couple of 4-5 patterns once we complete this as an internal wave 3, and only then have the actual wave 3 complete. And as you can imagine, at that point, it would be capable of building even additional 4-5 patterns for every single one of 1-2 setups it would be able to consider within this structure. Overall, this would likely end up being a bit too much, which is why I probably still prefer for the actual wave 3 top to complete once we have a top within this structure. I find it more likely for the less overwhelmingly bullish pattern to be the preferable one, as it does line up slightly better with the broader market. This doesn't make it impossible, but it would certainly need to provide a pretty strong degree of confirmation to truly be able to trust it. Now, with all of that said, at this point, I'm still tracking continuation directly higher from these lows, so I would primarily expect, at the very least, one major additional high. I would consider this to be the wave 1 up, this would be the wave 2 down, and even once we would have a major top within the wave 3 itself, we could be looking still for a larger wave 4 correction and a wave 5 to take us to higher prices. So by any means, I have to strongly favor continuation higher within this pattern, but at this point I'm actually not even convinced that the internal wave 3 would have a top in. No, not at all, but instead I would rather consider that we have just formed a top within a quite internal wave 3 within the larger wave 3, where right now I am tracking a wave 4 correction and continuation to even higher prices within a wave 5, which could mark the actual top of the wave 3. But even at that point, I might yet be able to look for one additional 4-5 structure and then assign the major top within the wave 3 of this wave 5. So at the very least, I would strongly prefer one additional high within the wave 3, and actually let me even go ahead and label this for the sake of simplicity. I am looking, let's say, within this yellow wave 3 to get at the very least one additional high, and for this interpretation to be able to still hold true, I needed to hold the levels of support for the wave 4 between $1,850 down to $1,430. As long as we do not get a sustained break below this last level of support, the 50% retracement, I have to allow it to continue to even higher prices. Right now, I believe we are actually getting quite close to a potential bottom within this structure, And the most interesting levels to me would certainly be the region around the 38.2% retracement, $1,600, which is also the ideal target for the wave 4. We can also notice some structural support. It has previously formed in this region. It has formed the initial wave 4 lows before extending directly higher within this wave 5, as the count that I am tracking within this wave 3 would actually imply this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, where within this wave 4, I am actually considering a triangle where the completion of the triangle is actually perfectly in line with the 38.2% retracement in an A, B, C, D, E, exactly the 38.2% retracement, and that is my exact target that I'm looking for this stock to bottom within. This is not financial advice, and it's not a guarantee that it will bottom within this region, but I do get pretty strong evidence that this wave 4 would actually manage to complete its count exactly within that area, as right now I would consider the pattern still incomplete, but not by much. So within this stock structure, I am primarily looking for this to have built something like an A wave down here, potentially a B wave up here, and then a wave C is what I'm currently tracking. In this interpretation, I have to consider that the wave C would be building an ending diagonal, which means that a 5-wave pattern would still emerge as it is typical within a wave C, but each of the subwaves of this wave C are only expected to build 3 waves. Well, in addition to that, I actually get another indication that this is actually a pretty likely count. I would be able to look for the ideal target for the wave 3, and that is the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. Well, if we actually draw the lines here, we notice how this wave 3 pushed perfectly within a 3-wave pattern into the 138.2% extension of the wave 1 on Thursday. It has managed to generate a bit of relief in the last trading hour, but the pattern is also perfectly complete. So in this interpretation that I will actually go ahead and track in yellow, I will be watching for the levels of resistance up to the 61.8% retracement to determine when a more substantial bottom could be believed to be in. Only if we manage to get a sustained break above $2,035 will we have the strong inclination to believe that this structure is actually not going to manage to extend even lower. It's not actually going to manage to generate that one additional expected low, and we might need to consider that this white wave 4 would instead already have a bottom in. And in terms of guideline, this yellow wave 4 would have to reach at the very least $1,900. It would have to overlap with the move down within the wave 1. It is a guideline and not a rule, which means that this doesn't absolutely need to be followed through. But if it is to really build a diagonal pattern, an ending diagonal within this white wave C, it would be preferable to reach those levels within this correction where they also actually happen to line with a 38.2% retracement, which is the ideal target for the wave 4. If we actually look at the exact levels, the low within this wave 1 is $1,895. Well, the 38.2% retracement, if I am to draw this exactly perfectly, is at $1,897.60. You cannot expect exactity when it comes to such small differences, but you can also not even make up how close this is. It is about a 0.1% difference. Now, the thing is, this is actually not the only possible outcome, because it is actually possible to consider that the wave B would have topped here instead, and then within this wave C, I would be tracking an impulse. I would have this as a wave 1 down, wave 2 up, wave 3 down, wave 4 up, and the wave 5 down. In this scenario, we would actually be able to extend lower while only reaching slightly lower levels of resistance, which means that it doesn't actually need to reach the yellow area of resistance to fulfill the expectations before extending directly to lower prices. In this scenario, we would be able to only reach $1,775 before actually seeing the decline resume. This is to highlight the variety we have within these patterns. I will also let you know that it is entirely possible for this white wave 4 to already have a bottom in. I could realistically be tracking this white wave B as a potential triangle, in which case the wave C could already be considered complete. So we really need to be on our toes for this opportunity. And for now, there really isn't much else to add with the currently available data. If I had a wave 4 top in, I could have been looking for a region for the wave 5 to extend to, but I already shared with you everything that is relevant to consider with the currently available data. So for now, I will stop here, but if you want even more from me, you can check out the Patreon, and otherwise, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.